This is episode 6 of the Brand Authority Podcast.
This is the Brand Authority Podcast, the show for growth-driven leaders who want to win more customers, increase revenue, and gain the competitive edge. Broadcasting from sunny Los Angeles, here's your host, Rebekah Radice.
Well, hello, episode 6. Oh my goodness, so exciting to be back here with you once again. And today we're going to focus on how to create a social media branding and marketing strategy. If you've ever wondered what separates those that are successfully using social media from those that struggle, or why one company has just taken off on social media while another limps along, that's what we're going to talk about today. What separates those two? And the good news is that the answers and the solutions are not as complicated as you might think. Those that achieve that exponential growth, or you feel as if, wow, they just came out of nowhere, which of course never happens. There's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. What they've done though is over time, they have committed to daily activities, to habits and strategies that have helped to consistently move their business forward. So we're going to talk about what are those activities, those habits, those strategies that they've implemented that have helped them build their brand and build their marketing, that marketing momentum over time. Step number 1, you have to set goals, and then you have to work to make them stick. If you want to create a social media branding and marketing strategy, you need to know what your goals and objectives are. There's so many reasons for this, but number 1, they give you direction. So they give direction and guidance to your strategy. They also give flight to your ideas. As Thomas Opong put it, you are judged by your output, not your thoughts. It pays to take real action in the direction of your goals. So let's talk about what social media goals and objectives actually look like, and then how you can visualize those and turn them into action. So first things first, you need to determine what daily, what weekly, and monthly social media disciplines are going to help you reach your goals. So first of all, let's sit down and think about those 3 big things that you want to achieve with social media. What are you looking to get out of social media? Not just on a daily basis, but in the long term. How is social media going to support your business? How is it going to push your business forward? And something you really have to take a good hard look at is, where are you spending your time right now? How are your daily activities actually helping you? Or are they just simply hurting you because you're wasting time doing things that really aren't pushing your business or your efforts or your goals forward? As you think about what you are looking to achieve with social media, be very honest with yourself. This is a great time to sit down with your team. If you have a marketing team, even get the C-level involved. It's so important that you have their buy-in as well to what your goals are within social media. So are you looking to increase sales? Maybe drive traffic to your website or blog. Maybe you want to improve your customers' experience. Maybe you want to heighten brand awareness. Whatever the case, be crystal clear and make sure everybody is on the same page. Once you know what your goals and objectives are, you're going to build a creative content schedule around that maximizes every social network that you're actively using and that are paying dividends back to you on the time that you're investing. And what I mean by that is, it could be that you love to use Facebook or you love to use Snapchat or Instagram, but that doesn't mean that's where your audience is spending their time. It doesn't mean that that is where they're actively engaging with you. So make sure that while you're being real with yourself and your team about what you're looking to get out of it, that you're also taking a good hard look at where you're spending your time and whether those social networks are worth your time. Once you determine that, now you need to break down your goals and objectives into specific tactics or tasks. Basically, you're going to look at this from a day-to-day, then a month-over-month, year-over-year. How are you going to achieve those BHAGs, those big, hairy, audacious goals? Well, as they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You're going to do the same exact thing with your social media tasks. For example, if you want to heighten brand visibility, you might plan to use live streaming to connect with a market previously untouched. Or maybe create a new interview series. Sit down, write down the areas that need to be improved in order for you to reach your objectives. And then, this is a critical piece, you want to set a deadline for each of those objectives. Next up, and this is one I just alluded to, you want to choose the right social media platform. So you're going to determine which social networks not only support those goals we just talked about, but which ones are going to be most beneficial to your brand. To figure this out, ask yourself and then answer a few questions. First of all, what social network is your audience actively using? As I said, it's important to take a good hard look at what are those social networks that, no, not you that loves using Instagram, but what is your audience's preference? Where do they prefer to spend their time? You can do some simple research just by asking your audience. You could create a poll in Google Forms. There's a lot of different ways you can get to the bottom of that. Then you want to look at what platforms align with the type of content you share. Of course, not everybody consumes content in the same way. And likewise, not every platform is built to optimally allow your audience to consume your content. Think about what type of content you share and then pair that with your best social network. Let me give you an example of kind of what this looks like. So for video content, might be YouTube, maybe Periscope, Facebook Live, Vimeo, lots of different options. For visuals, could be Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. For business-focused content, you might want to spend more time on LinkedIn or places like Quora or Medium, or even Twitter is a great place for business-focused content. So think about how to align your content with the right social network. Granted, most of what I just outlined and shared is going to pretty much work on any of those social networks. The key for you is knowing which one, what type of content resonates the most with your audience, and then in what location they can best consume that. Your next step to creating a social media branding and marketing strategy is getting crystal clear on your content strategy. One of the biggest mistakes I see so many companies make is they think, well, I'll just create a blog post here, or I'll write a Facebook post, or I'll share on Instagram, but you don't actually have a plan in mind that pulls everything together, that creates consistency and really acts as the framework for all of that content that you're going to create. So this is going to require that you research. You're going to take a deeper look into the wants and needs of those potential clients, those buyers, those users, those people that you're looking to connect with on social media. So here's the great news. If you've been dreading putting a content strategy in place, there are a lot of ways, and I'm going to share just a handful, to brainstorm content that you can then quickly and easily drop into a content calendar. And I'm going to share with you a link to a free content calendar. I'll drop it into today's show notes that will help you build out all of that content for social media, for your blog, all across your online properties. But you can use something as simple as Google Calendar or Outlook. Whatever the case, it just needs to be easy for you. To get your creative juices flowing, you can generate content ideas with analytics. Your analytics are a fantastic source of information and inspiration. And if you've been afraid to get into them, let me simplify it for you, because it's just so easy for you to go into your Google Analytics and take a look at, say, what blog posts have received the most views. You can sort those based on topic and see if there's an opportunity for you to turn those topics top posts, those posts that are still driving traffic to you, into maybe some tweets or some visual graphics with quotes from that content. Next, look at your competition for content ideas. You don't want to limit yourself just to your own content. Check out the blogs and websites of other people within your industry. Now, this does not mean you're going to borrow or steal their ideas. You're just simply looking to see what kind of content your competitors are sharing and which types are getting the most shares. Because as you can imagine, if their audience is similar to yours, creating content based on proven performance, it's always a smart move. Once you've generated some ideas, now you need to determine what content types. So you can't randomly share content and hope it produces results, right? That's what we're talking about here. You need to share the type of content that actually converts, that's going to create that branding and marketing strategy that leads to conversions, that leads to sales. That could be anything from blog posts to webinars, maybe ebooks. Case studies are terrific to showcase your company, special reports or white papers, maybe workbooks where you're actually walking people through how to do something. A specific download like a podcast, the one we're doing right here. Checklists or how-tos, very popular, or video guides like tutorials. Whichever one you choose, here is my advice. Only focus on one at a time. Determine how it's going to support those content goals we talked about. Give it a try, test it out, put it out there into your social channels, and then determine, did it work? Was it a big flop? Should you do that all over again? And if so, yes, rinse and repeat. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel when you found something that works. And once you do, then you move on to the next and you can incorporate one more. But if you try to add them all or do them all at once, you're going to not only stretch yourself out too thin where you're trying to create too much content, but you're also going to create a lot of confusion in your own mind as you're trying to test too many variables, too many things at once. Now you need to create a posting strategy. So once you've created your content strategy, your next step is to move on to your posting strategy. You're going to decide which social media channels you're going to share your post across. So if you've done your work ahead of time, everything we've talked about and determining where you should be spending your time, which social channels support you best, now you're going to put into place that posting strategy so that every time you create a new piece of content, there's no question where that piece of content is going to go. You know exactly where it's going to post. You know what the best time to post is. You know the message behind that, how long that post is going to be. So lots of different things that are going to go into this. But the best way to go about it is take that content calendar, any calendar that you're using, and create a separate tab for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, all of the social channels that you're using, and then outline which type of media you're going to share. So while you share an image, a link, a video, an infographic, white paper, or which one will you share and on which channel? Now it's time for you to determine how often you're going to post. So how much content are you going to share on each of those social networks? And obviously, each one is a little bit different when it comes to frequency. Like Twitter, you could share a lot more. You could share 10, 14 different tweets in a day, and your Twitter followers won't bat an eye. If you did that on Facebook or Instagram, you'll probably start to lose a lot of followers. So it's important that you're respective of your audience, but also the social network, and really get into those analytics as we've talked so much about, and understand how much content are they consuming from you? Are they, if you're doing 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day, has that become too much where you're losing traction, not getting the likes or shares or interaction. And so don't just start adding content in for the sake of content. Only do it as it makes sense. And the final piece to all of this is to track, measure, and adjust. A huge part of your social media strategy is measuring the impact of all of your social media efforts. So tracking them, it's going to help you set the right goals, which we've talked about. Determine what's really going on, what really works, and what needs adjustment. And then it's going to allow you to iterate. So how do we improve upon whatever it is that you've implemented? You know, to me, people can lie. There are certain things that we can skew with our own perception, but data doesn't lie when you understand how to read it and how to take information out of that and make informed decisions. So you need to identify the metrics that matter to you. And those are going to be born out of what you're looking to get out of social media, whether it's engagement or awareness, or whether you're looking to push people over to your website, so additional traffic. Knowing what your goals are as a business, as a brand, are going to determine that one metric that matters most to you, and how you're going to track that then comes into the tools you use, those systems and those processes that you put into place. And one last piece of advice for you that I cannot emphasize enough is that you only focus on actionable metrics, metrics that matter to your business because they're moving the needle on your business. And that is the difference between actionable as opposed to those vanity metrics that, woohoo, they might make you feel good, that you got a whole lot of likes on that Facebook post. But if nobody is taking action, meaning they're not clicking through to your blog posts, they're not clicking over to your landing page, they're not taking a look at your book on Amazon, then what does any of that matter? And that's where you can get caught up in that vicious cycle of posting on social media, patting yourself on the back because you got a whole lot of likes. But in reality, those likes didn't lead to a new customer. They didn't lead to new opportunities, and they didn't lead to doors opening to the growth of your business. All right, so let's pull this all together, how you can create a social media branding and marketing strategy. We live in an online world where the landscape, it is constantly evolving. What worked yesterday no longer works today. But creating a strategy that ensures no matter what's happening in the market and the digital space is going to insulate your business, your brand from all of those negative effects. So keep yourself away from those things that might try to derail you, those things that you feel could have a huge impact on your business, and instead get focused on those 5 steps I just laid out and keep them top of mind every single day, because the only way you move your business forward is to create consistency by doing them over and over and over again. Thanks for listening to the Brand Authority Podcast. I'm Rebekah Radice, and thrilled that you are here with us today for episode 6, How to Create a Social Media Branding and Marketing Strategy. I'd love to connect with you on social. You can find me at Rebekah Radice or RebekahRadice.com. As always, if you like what you heard, please share your review on iTunes. It is so important to us and incredibly important to others to be able to find us. So we truly, 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 from the bottom of our hearts, appreciate your reviews. And to make it easy on you, all you have to do is pop over to radiantla.com/authority to share your thoughts. Oh, and P.S., don't forget, please pass this along with anybody and everybody you think would benefit from building their authority on social media. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you online and back here for another episode of the Brand Authority Podcast.